Due to the mobile power nature of the Quest, we don't often get the best type of flight simulators to play in standalone, but the Warplane series so far has delivered quite well, and their third game is now available on App Lab. Warplane's Air Corps is the third in the series, following World War I Fighters and Battles Over the Pacific, both of which have gotten pretty good ratings. World War I Fighters has over 3,300 ratings with about a 4.6 rating, and their second game, Battles Over the Pacific, has about a 4.4 rating with over 1,100 ratings. Now keep in mind, Air Corps is out just on App Lab at the moment because it is early for it. So far 19 ratings, putting it at about a 4.2 with mostly 63% positive 5-star ratings. People saying it's stunning, people saying the helicopter controls need more refinement, but it's good for a start. If combat flight sims are something you're interested in, this might be worth checking out. It's currently $15 on App Lab, but Explore 25 will get you another 25% off, bringing that pretty close to $10. Brazen Blade is a new game going into alpha and hopefully launching in 2024. This is from the studio My Dearest, known for their Chronos series, which are compared to graphic novel type games in VR. This looks to be totally different and is already being called the Smash Bros of VR. Now we've seen other games that are more similar to Smash Bros like Quantar, which is free, where you're actually sitting third person above your character fighting. Brazen Blade is putting you first person inside the character's head, 3v3, and you are using these powerful gauntlet gloves to try and knock your opponents way off the course. You better have your VR legs. An interesting thing about this, they've got some really powerful industry veterans actually advising them on this game. People with histories with Overwatch and League of Legends, and even VR YouTuber Thrillseeker is actually going to be responsible for the VR user experience and quality control on this game. That has me excited to think that this game could be something really solid. If you're interested in trying to get into that alpha, you've got to join their Discord, and you only have till September 24th. They're going to announce who gets to check out that alpha ahead of time. So if you get to this video soon enough, you got almost 2 weeks to get in there. But that doesn't mean they're going to let everyone in. I love how when we see some of the VR industry veterans, sometimes the games get in and they give us those real intense experiences that we're looking for in VR. But keep in mind, if you're brand new to VR, games like this can be really rough on you when it comes to VR sickness. Originally revealed back at the MetaQuest Gaming Showcase in June, Dungeons of Eternity caused quite a stir. This is a VR co-op fantasy adventure. This can be played with a single player or up to 3 players co-op. You're using realistic physics-based hack and slash combat. You're going through randomly generated dungeons, overcoming traps and puzzles, and trying to get as much treasure as you can without dying. We're finally coming up on release, and with that, this last week they just opened up pre-orders. Sadly, it says coming fall 2023, but we know it is coming in October. They still didn't give us a solid date on it. If you are interested, pre-orders are going to get you a 10% discount. Although, as I mentioned before, pre-orders do get you a couple extra armor suits, but if you don't pre-order and you hold out till afterwards and you get one of those referral codes, I mean, usually that's 25% off, so it's a tough sell to try and pre-order anything. Personally, I'm pretty excited about this game. It looks really good if you get a group of friends play through this, and the company says there's going to be free post-launch updates continuing to develop on the game. That makes me a little nervous hearing that, making me think that it might not be completely ready when it launches, but hopefully that's just more good content. What do you think when you hear that phrase, though? Let me know in the comments. Swordsman VR has now made its way to the official MetaQuest store. This game originally launched back on PSVR and was one of the best-selling combat games ever for the PSVR. Many people did attribute that to the fact that Blade and Sorcery never made it to PSVR, but over the years, Swordsman VR has really distinguished itself from a game like Blade and Sorcery. Swordsman VR has both a campaign mode where you actually end up facing different bosses that you can get pretty cool weapons from that you can take forward in the game with you, or sandbox mode, of course, more similar to what Blade and Sorcery has to offer. This game is night and day different from its original design when it first came out, with good combat physics, updated AI in the enemies so that they actually learn the ways you attack and attack back differently to try and combat that, and a whole bunch of different areas of the world that you can travel through, different weapons you can unlock and get. It's definitely become quite the game, and they were actually recently on the Q2C podcast, and one of the developers said that they believe that hand-to-hand combat is to VR what first-person shooters were to flat gaming. Obviously, when you play a good ragdoll physics game, you get to punch people around, stab them, and throw them. You can kind of see what they mean there. I personally think VR is great, obviously, for first-person shooters and the amount of realism you can get with it, but hand-to-hand combat is probably the thing that's brought me the most laughs and smiles over the years in VR. Swordsman was out for quite a while on App Lab, but now it's on the official store if you want to check it out. They do have a long roadmap ahead of what's coming on the game and changes that will continue to happen, though, so keep an eye out here on the news videos and we'll keep you updated. We've talked about Meta Horizon Worlds before. That's Meta's own version of VR Chat or Rec Room, and how they've struggled to have retention, getting people to go back into it. They even worked to lower the age limits on the Quest to try and get more people in their headsets more often, playing more. They finally created a first-party studio Oro Interactive to actually develop high-quality experiences for Horizon Worlds. We told you before about the new multiplayer shooter Super Rumble, and now they're launching another one, Citadel. Although Meta didn't directly say Oro Interactive made this new one, Citadel, this is a 1 to 2 player action-adventure shooter, platformer, and roguelite all in one. It takes you through 30 rooms of increasing difficulty with challenges, enemies, puzzles, pits, and traps. And it's interesting to see that Horizon Worlds is working this hard to try and make their app keep up with some of the other ones that are already out there, especially alongside Roblox coming to Quest 2 recently. Seeing the footage here, what do you think? Is this going to get you back into Horizon Worlds yet? I know there's at least one person in the comments that's always telling me to get in Horizon Worlds, so maybe I'll actually get in and check this one out with them. The race simming crowd can rejoice. The studio that made Dirt Rally that's working on EA Sports WRC has announced it will be getting VR support, but on PC and post-launch. Unfortunately, a lot of people were excited and hoping that we'd see it come to PSVR 2. This game is not far from launching, at least flat, on November 3rd, and although it is coming to PS5, so far it says that the VR mode is going to be exclusive to PC. Most of the race sim crowd has still had to stick to PCVR over the years just to get the best possible experience, although we did see some amazing details in Gran Turismo on PSVR, especially if you had a race wheel to use alongside it. This doesn't mean that it's never coming, but unfortunately it's definitely not coming anytime soon. I'm holding out hope though. If you're still not sick of monkey-based climbing games and bananas, Toss has come out on Quest, PSVR 2, and PCVR. This is a banana-filled action platformer, and it comes in at $20. You're a monkey grabbing onto pipes, handles, tree branches, and you bounce around through the open sky. I haven't gone to Toss yet myself, but if you have, let me know. Is it worth checking out? Is it another Gorilla Tag type game, or like Monkey See, Monkey Do Do? Is it something different enough that it might get its own audience? With all that said, another big week of gaming news, and we've got lots coming up down the pipe. I can't wait to share details from Connect and everything else we've got going on, but I want to say once again, thank you for hanging out here with me and Willow today, and I will see you in another reality.